Hello everyone, welcome to Home Talk. I'm Julie McDowell with Dandelions and Poppies. In this episode today, I'm going to show you how you can use gold leaf on your furniture and home decor, but I'm going to show you how to do it through a stencil. This is the stencil I'm going to use, and I'm just applying it to the center of this door. I have measured my door panel and I have found the center. Now I'm going to place the stencil on my mark, and I'm going to tape this stencil down because we don't want it to move. You can use a tacky spray that they do sell. I don't like to do that because it can leave marks sometimes on your painted surface, so I like to use tape instead. So we just make sure that it's as flat as possible before we start applying the size. Now, leaf comes in gold, silver and copper. It's not real metal. It comes in sheets like this. You get normally 100 or so sheets depending on where you buy it, and I'm using gold today. So the first thing you do is you apply a metal leaf adhesive size, and that is what is going to stick the leaf to our substrate. So I've got a small stencil brush, and I really recommend that you buy a decent stencil brush. The craft brushes that you can get in the craft stores, they're not really very good. They will splay out, the bristles will splay out, and that means that the size or any paint that you're using will seep underneath the stencil. So that's my top tip. So you dip the brush into the size, which is a milky white colour, offload it a little bit, and using a stippling method, pouncing, apply the size through the stencil. Okay, so keep doing it, add a little bit more to the brush. Don't need to overload it, but we do need to get a good amount on there. Okay, so now we've covered all the openings of the stencil, and now we have to leave it. It has to become tacky. It's called coming to tack. And when it has come to tack, it will be clear. It takes about 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave that now, and then I will come back in 15 minutes and show you the next part. Okay, it's now 15 minutes later, and all the white has disappeared. And if you lay that part of your finger down and pull it up fast, you will feel the resist on the size. So now I'm going to take one sheet of my gold and lay it down. Okay, you can use the backing paper. If it's hot, it does stick to you, and it's very hot here today. Okay, you can tear it and lay it down, whatever works for you. Pat it down. Just lay it down first, and then we'll get to the patting down bit and the securing it bit when it's all covered. And I also put some size on this little bit of decoration up here. Not a lot, because I don't want to cover it completely, but I just want to highlight it a little bit. Okay, all the gold leaf is now on the stencil, but we have to make sure that it's all stuck down really well. And in order to do this, I like to use this, which is synthetic lamb's wool. It was a mitten that I cut up that I found in the car finishing section at a big box store. It's for buffing cars. And they're washable. If you've got real lamb's wool, that's fine. Or if you don't have any of these, a very, very soft cloth. Some people like to use rolled up, balled up wax paper, but I really like to use this. It's very gentle. So very, very carefully, we now buff this and make sure that the gold is in all the sections. Okay, so this is called burnishing it. Some people use wax paper, but I actually prefer to use this lamb's wool, or synthetic lamb's wool. Okay, that's all burnished now. There are a couple of little spots that I can see that the gold has not gone on, but I can touch those up later if I feel I need to. So now I'm going to remove the tape and we will have the big reveal. The main thing about this is that you do all this leaving the stencil in place. And that is how you get a better line around your pattern. There we are. Now all these little bits here are called skewings, and I save these bits because sometimes you want to add in little bits here and there. Like if I decide I'm going to touch up these little black bits here, I would use these little bits of skewings. I wouldn't go and get a whole new sheet to do that. Okay, I'm going to go away now and get rid of all these little bits, and then I'll come back and show you what we do next. Okay, so now I have cleaned up this door front. I've got rid of all the little bits of gold leaf, and here is my pot of skewings. I've got in here gold, copper and silver, and nothing goes to waste because I will use those on another project. Another useful brush to have is this, to just clean up the surface. I actually blew away most of the bits that I didn't want to keep with a hairdryer. But this is a really very soft brush. You could use a soft makeup brush, would work just as well. Just to make sure you've got every last little crumb off before we top coat it. Now, another thing I like to do is when I use a water-based top coat, I like to take it out of my tin can that it comes in and put it into anything with a screw top. This is an old collagen tub. It just keeps it nice and it doesn't affect it at all. But also, before I use it, I then decant it onto a plate. So I'm going to now use this staining pad that I got from a big box store. I like to use these because it's just a very easy way to apply the top coat. Okay, so I've got my staining pad and I'm going to really load it up well with the top coat in here and then start smoothing it on all over. See, it's so much easier using this than a brush, especially when you've got little dips and nooks and crannies. As you can see, I also did the little detail on the top with some gold leaf. I didn't want it completely covered, just a random coating. So that is the first coat, and I will give this 3 coats so that it's got a really nice glossy finish, and I'm using a gloss top coat, and that really does bring the shine of the gold leaf out. So here are my 2 doors for my sideboard finished. I'm going to put the hardware on and then stage them, and I will come back and show you how they look. And here is my finished sideboard with both the doors on, and the stencil has been mirror imaged, as you can see, and I think it looks fabulous. Great way to give your furniture a little bit of pizzazz. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and you will feel inspired to have a go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.